as I said in the last video, I'm just gonna call it an epic fail. It was an epic fail. We didn't do it right, learning lesson, but we are now on to take 2 of this. We have it set up here. I'm gonna go over what we're doing differently this time, and I think it's gonna work even better than the first time. I'm super excited. Doing differently. Well, if you didn't see the first video, then you need to. So what we're doing here is we're making 6.5-inch speaker pod adapters for the Indian Chieftain, because as everybody knows, biggest complaint is I want bigger speakers. Go back to our very first video where we just start discussing this. There's a couple of restrictions to that, but Davidson Audio, we're working on it. We're going to make you something killer. It's going to have 2 different versions, one for power band and one for aftermarket killer speakers. Each of them come with their own requirements. That being said, what we did the first time is I just used painter's tape on this, and we painter's taped the whole opening on both sides, just like this. And then we used the Stoner mold release spray. Nothing wrong with this at all. But for this application, this is not the right product for that application. So we put it in our bin, we move on. The first thing we did differently, you can see that's reflective. That is aluminum duct tape, not duct tape like what you normally use, but duct, like AC duct up there tape. So we coated this whole thing in because, one, that's a lot slicker and it's harder for things to sit on. So you can see we got the whole opening. That took forever. I think it took me probably at least an hour and a half to do that. And for the mold release, I was talking to Carlos at NBS Audio. He said that Stoner spray works great, but it's for larger applications like boat molds and stuff like that, where you got a much bigger area. You can get an air compressor and a wedge in there and you can pop it loose. So for this, he told me to go down to the auto parts store, get you some wax, which this is the Carnauba wax. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to put a thick coat on this aluminum right here. That way it gives us that much better of a releasing agent to make sure that this will actually release. So, and what we're doing this time is we're not just going to put resin and fiberglass in it like we did the last time. We're going to mix it up. If you've watched our videos where we do the sealing and porting in the bags of the toppers, you know, once we panel bond the topper in, we flip it over and we use a mixture of resin and Cabasil, which is a fumed silica additive. It turns the resin in almost like a pancake batter consistency. That's what we're going to use for this. But to make sure that it's even more rigid, we went ahead with, again, the great folks over at US Composites and ordered this tub of essentially fiberglass strands. It almost looks like rice. They're just chopped fiberglass 1/4-inch strands. So what I'm going to do, and you'll see it, is I'm going to mix up the resin with the hardener, add the Cabasil, and then add a good amount of this to where it's even thicker, like super thick pancake batter. Then we're going to coat this, and what my plan is that we get a good even coat all the way around, so that way when that hardens, we're able to pop that whole thing out and have a perfect mold of what we want. And as long as we get that, we're going to go ahead and make the first one. We're going to make 2 pairs, because the first pair is going to be for the 6.5-inch aftermarket speaker. We're going to get that in there, and then hopefully in the next video you'll see us aiming that speaker. But then the next one is going to be for the power band, so it's going to sit a lot further in, be a lot smaller of an adapter, so that way if you don't want to go full aftermarket, you just want a simple 6.5-inch speaker upgrade to a power band, this will allow you to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this table outside. Even though it's nice and hot outside here in Florida, we're going to go ahead and do this outside because I don't want to stink this whole shop up. It makes it unbearable to work in here, and I don't have a close-off area just for this. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything set up. I maybe set up the tripod so y'all can see a time lapse on that. Get it mixed up, get it coated in here, let it dry. Should be able to pop the mold out by the end of the day. If not, we'll let it cure overnight. We'll pop that out. We'll recoat it with the wax, and then we'll do a second round. That way we have 2 sets, and we can start making our actual adapters off of that. Get the whole thing done, make it nice and smooth and clean and how we want it, add some body filler and whatnot. That way we can scan it, start making these, and get them on the market, because I'm super excited to get them on the market. I know y'all been asking for way too long, so time to get off the pot and make it happen. So let's go get to work. Hopefully that wasn't too painful to watch, but this is all, as you can see, it's got a nice kind of a hue to it, got a little bit of green in there. So again, the reason for doing this carnauba wax in here is because when you get into such a small details like this, as you can see right there, into those nooks and crannies, yes, is this a little over the top trying to get all that detail 110%, but I'd rather capture all that detail now, because once we put this cabosil in, you'll see it, once we pop it out, it'll be hard like a rock. If I need to take that detail out to make it easier to 3D print, I can just cut it, tape it from the backside, reform it on the inside, smooth it out. That's a lot easier to take away than to add later. So I'd rather capture all the detail now, making sure that we get all the detail that we possibly can off of these, and we have to modify it later, that's fine, it doesn't really matter. So let's go outside, we're gonna get this all set up outside, we're gonna get the resin with the cabosil and the fiberglass, you're gonna see all of that. So we're gonna get rocking and rolling on that, so that way we can get this curing and show y'all how it came out. I'm really excited to pop these out by the end of the day, if not tomorrow. I may wait till tomorrow, which I'm not very patient, so it's gonna be hard for me to do, but I wanna make sure this fully cures. I don't wanna go popping it and then something crack and break. So we may wait till tomorrow, but let's go outside and get this done. All right, real quick, before we get this all set up, we're gonna try to do this pretty quick because it's warm, it's hot, it's humid out here. So real quick, we got about 10 ounces of resin. We're gonna put the hardener in there, we're gonna mix it up. We got our cabosil back there, so you're gonna see us pouring powder in there. No, it's not cocaine, it's actually cabosil. And then we're gonna take the strands and we're gonna sprinkle a good amount in there, make it real thick, and then I'm gonna paste it all in here. So it's all gonna go pretty quick. We're just gonna throw it in a time lapse. Before a bunch of people ask, I don't know the exact ratio. I do about 10 to 11 drops per ounce, so we're gonna need about 110 drops in here. Mix it up, it helps it set a little bit quicker. So really that's based off of where you're at, the climate, the temperature, all of that stuff. It's just down here in Florida, that's kind of worked for us. So use that by caution, use it on your own. Don't go based off of what I'm saying. And then we got some chip brushes as well, which these are super tiny ones. I don't know how well that will work, but we will figure it out. So let's get in a time lapse and get this stuff done. All of it put in there, as you can see, it's nice and thick, got all that fiberglass, so that'll help reinforce it. That cabosil dries pretty darn hard, so we're really pumped about that. And like I said, I wasn't too worried. It's not as thick in all of the spots, but it's pretty darn good. What we can do is come back and put a little bit more in, but what I'm hoping is we got it up to this edge all the way around this, so that'll give us the shell, and we'll be able to pop that one and that one out. So I'm really excited to see how that is. I'm not worried about it being super smooth. I take a sander and clean that up a little bit on both of them. Primarily, we're looking for the shell. And like I said, we got this nook and cranny. There was one in here. We got all the detail that I wanted out of it. And if I have to, like say here, we decide that we're not gonna get that little detail there, we're just gonna come up and flatten it out there, I can just cut that and clean it up and do the same thing. Be super simple. So this is gonna sit out and cure. I'm gonna let this cure overnight, so tomorrow morning we'll come back and pop these out and see how they look and show you all the update. I was really hesitant on showing you all this, but I'm kind of too excited not to show you. So we've made some killer progress on these 6.5 inch speaker pods. So they cured, and just so y'all know, I was not that patient. I went ahead and pulled them, and then we went and popped a second mold. So now we have, as my face gets closer, there we go, the shells of our 6.5 inch pods. So let's take the better of the two good looking ones. Actually, that one I blazed a hole in a little bit, so here you go. So we cut out the speaker hole. I sanded them pretty smooth there, as you can see. Let's get my face out of the way. We thinned them out, like you can see right there, there's a small hole through that one. That's fine, I'm gonna fill it in, but like I said, look at, we got all of our detail here. Oh, hello. So we got all our detail that we wanted here, the backside and everything. So they're getting there. So we got the shell, they popped out perfect. Huge shout out to Carlos Ramirez at MES Audio for the advice. Worked out perfect. So now what we're gonna be doing is in our next video, I'm gonna show y'all the design process that we're 3D printing the ring to hold the speaker. And also big shout out to Pikes Peak Indian. I called Tito and I was like, hey bro, I need a set of Gen 2 power band 6.5 to make a 3D printed grill for it to work for these. So he was like, all right, cool. He's sending those, so those should be in. I'm hoping they'll be in before this video or our next video launches. If not, we'll at least get the ring and everything. We'll start the process for the Cicada Audio CH6.5. The reason I'm using that speaker is it's a large magnet, everything else, so we'll add some paper towels to it to help beef it up. So that way it'll give us a wide variety of speakers that would work. So stay tuned. The next video is gonna be super killer. It's gonna be awesome. Y'all are gonna love it. I'm pumped about all the progress that we're making on this. I am making a vow to have these on the market before the end of the year. It's only a couple of months away, so we have a lot of work to go, but stay tuned, stay with us. We will get these done for y'all, and we're gonna bring them. I mean, what you said, they're gonna be the best on the market, not just because they're the only ones, but they're gonna be the best ones. So anybody that tries to knock them off, good luck. They're gonna be cheap, thin pieces. I'm calling it out now. Y'all stick with the people that are innovating these bikes and making all the best products possible. So stay tuned for next week's video, but I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like I said, if y'all are looking for the best aftermarket audio solution for your Indian, Harley, motorcycle period, make sure you check us out here in beautiful Panama City, Florida. We would absolutely love to help y'all out. So y'all have a great day, and God bless all of you guys.